pain, man. Gotta learn how to cope with the pain, man. I'm telling you, cope with the pain. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it's a good morning. It's a good morning. How everyone's doing? How's everyone doing on this blessing Monday? On this blessing Monday. So let's dive into coping with the pain. Let's dive into coping with the pain. I want you guys, right? Have you ever in your life, or do you know someone or yourself, have you ever coped with pain of someone that hate on you before? It could be family, friends, foes, whoever. Have you ever coped with the pain? Have you ever felt the pain of the person that hates you, that don't want to see you rise up and elevate? While you are doing your thing, and you have emotional movement, you have individuals are in pain and suffering. They are in pain and suffering. They don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to cope with their failure and your success. They don't know how to cope with your leveling up and they digressing. They don't know how to cope with you rising to the top and them failing. They don't know how to cope with their oppression and depression and your success and rewards. They don't know how to cope with that. So they go like this. Boom, 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 boom. That's what they do. Or they do this. Or they do this. They do this. I hate him. I hate him. I hate her. I hate her. I hate him. I hate him. That's what they do. That's how they cope with the pain. Or they call the cops on you and lie upon you so that you can lose whatever that you got going on with yourself. That's how they cope with the pain. But that's not gonna do what? That's not gonna eliminate their pain. Their pain is only gonna begin with that because of the hatred that they hold in their heart towards you and blaming you of their failures. You don't see my thumbnails? Somebody got their whole body was aching and pain, right? Then you got one person, they head like this, they having headaches, going to sleep and waking up with you on their mind of your success, of your motion and movement. Yes. Yes. They have to cope with the pain. You have to cope with the traumas. You have to cope with the depression. You have to cope with the other person's success in order for you to do what? So you can release the traumas and depression that's upon you of the hate of somebody. Yes. This is a fact. You have to cope with the pain. In order to cope with the pain, you have to let it go. You have to let that person's success go. You have to let that person's reward go. You have to let all of it go in order to cope with your pain. But the people that can't cope with the pain, I want you to take the poll. Have you ever in your life, have you ever coped with the pain of hatred towards you ever in your life? Pick yes or pick no. Pick yes or no. I know many of y'all gonna say yes. I couldn't cope with the pain of somebody hating on me because a lot of people can't cope with that. If you know for sure your family members is hating on you, or your loved ones is hating on you, or your friends is hating on you, or anybody hating on you, can't cope with that pain. You can't cope with it. Because the reason why I'm saying you can't cope with it, because they may do something to harm you, call the cops on you, lie on you, or anything to get you out of your position from rising up. So you know what you gotta do? You gotta have motion and movement without telling them to cope with the pain, right? Telling them to cope with the pain. And I'm going to show you something right here. I'm going to show you something, you know? And this is to the people that couldn't cope with the pain. They couldn't cope with the pain. Check it out.
I know it's the pain, man. The pain is the pain, man. Gotta learn how to cope with the pain, man. I'm telling you, cope with the pain. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Listen. Do you know how hard it is for a hater to cope with their pain of seeing you rise up and seeing you elevate? It's very difficult and hard for them. I don't know that lifestyle. I don't know that vibe. I never hate on nobody in my life. I never hate on nobody in my life. I never hate on anybody. I just go get it. I find the information out. I find the loopholes and I get to it. So I don't know how to cope with pain of seeing somebody's success and hating on them. But there's some individuals, they cannot cope with the pain. They cannot cope with seeing you rise up. They cannot cope with seeing you elevate yourself. They cannot cope with you being on these major platforms, spitting the truth and standing on truth and loyalty and standing on respect and worshiping the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence. So they listen to you and look at you and hate on you secretly. This is an absolute true fact. Somebody said I look like Rick Ross. Okay, cool. Somebody said spitting, eat like Bell Knowledge. You can be. So, listen, I know your guys want to play games in the comments. That's cool. But listen, I need y'all to help me with the poll right there. Have you ever in your life experienced coping with the pain of others hating on you? Have you ever? If you did, pick yes. If you didn't, pick no. There's some people that never dealt with the pain of hate of others. You understand? They are. But in our society, in our communities, there's hate. There's hate there. Because they allow others to succeed and they oppress and depress others. So it builds hate and jealousy of that person that's exceeding all the expectation that he was meant or she was meant to do. They beat the odds. Instead of these individuals not coping with the pain of seeing you successful and elevate, they'd rather see you dead or gone and that's it. Instead of going to ask you, your brother or sister, how did you beat the odds? How did you cope with your pain? And what did you do with your pain? Well, I took my pain and turned it into into success and rewards and accomplishment. And this is how I did it. A, B, C. I went and got my GED. I went and got my certificate. I went and got this. I went and got that. All of the doors that was closed against me, I reopened them up. But I went to another avenue. I went another way. I may have to go out of town to fulfill my dreams. I may have to go to LA. I may have to go down south. I may have to go to the other side of the country to fulfill my dreams, to fulfill my pain. I'm coping with the pain, and how I cope with it is finding the solutions, and how you find a solution is have motion and movement, and the information will guide you through to deal with your pain instead of having hatred and jealous and sitting there and breeding this with inside of you. That's an actual fact. So the question is, you got to cope with the pain. You have to cope with the pain. You have to cope with your own jealousy. You have to cope with your own hatred towards individuals. I see you. I may have to go to Rising King, so yeah, I'm with you. Yes. This coping with the pain, nobody know how to cope with their pain. They don't know how to cope with their pain. They don't know how to cope with the emotion. They blame you for their failure. They blame you for everything. For their failure in life. For their traumas and depression. Instead of coping with it, once you cope with the pain, and then it will reverse, and then you can uplift yourself. That's an actually true fact. I cope with my pain. I cope with the pain. I tried alcohol. I tried cigarettes. I tried anything in the book to cope with the pain. It did not work. So I cope with it with success in doing things that I didn't do before. Mostly everybody cope with the pain and backstabbing and backbiting and talking about people's success and trying to figure out how they can sabotage somebody instead of fixing their own life and their own situation and coping with the pain and struggles upon them. This is actually true fact. This is true. So, have you ever coped with the pain of somebody hating on you? Have you ever coped with your own pain of somebody bringing pain upon you because they hate you? Let me tell you something. You could be at your lowest of low. Lowest of low. Right? You have nothing. You homeless, you in the garbage, and they still gonna hate you. Because you know why? The scriptures and the Almighty, the Supreme Being is upon you. They know that any given chance that He can rise you up and surpass them. So they got pain in their heart. At night, in the morning, they wake up with you on their mind. Did he achieve? Did he exceed expectation? Did he get his reward? Did she get his reward? And if they say yes, it's going to create a heart attack. Literally, their brain and everything going to have pain upon them. It's going to breed, like they say, it's going to breed heartburn upon them. You're going to burn. You're literally going to burn because you see somebody successful. You don't have motion and movement. It's an actual fact. So you got to cope with the pain. You have to cope with it. You have to cope with the pain. You have to cope with the pain that this is the dopest channel on YouTube. This is the dopest channel on YouTube. Spitting facts. That's right. Facts. How you doing, Alabama? We got Alabama in the building. Thank you, Alabama, for being here. For your guys that's liking and sharing, subscribing, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Because you know why? This is the most powerful, with the Alpha Omega, the Creator help. The most powerful channel that's on YouTube. The most powerful videos that's on YouTube. That don't be doing what others do. They do that, I go that way. They do that, I go up. They do that, I go down. I go this, I go that way. That's right. Because I have to bring you the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and experience so that you can do what? You can cope with the pain. You can cope with the pain by me bringing the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and the tools that you need to cope with your pain. That's how you cope with it. You don't cope with it by shooting somebody. Boom, 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 boom. You don't cope with it like, That's not coping with it. That's not coping with your pain. That's adding on. That's adding on. You're supposed to subtract from it. Subtract. And how you subtract with it is through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and with these scriptures, and when being what? In line with the Alpha Omega, the Almighty, the Creator, and everything existing. That's how you cope with the pain. You start coping with the pain, and you start eliminating them demons out of your life. You can say any demons. Demons of alcohol. Demons of that weed. Demons of cigarettes. Demons of eating. being overweight, demons of backbiting, demons of stabbing somebody in the back, demons of low self-esteem, demons of not having emotional movement. That's how you deal with it. This is all big facts. So you guys have an amazing day, an amazing Monday. This is Motion Monday. Remember, this is Motion Monday. Motivation Monday. This is Motivation and Motion Monday. Have motion and motivation upon yourself. So thank you so much for allowing me into your house, for allowing me on your phone, for allowing me on your laptop, for allowing me on your TVs, and allowing me to be shared around the world. I really appreciate it, brothers and sisters. That's right. Coming with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and experience from a spiritual eye. This all big fact. My heart, my eyes, my mind, body, and soul. Peace, y'all. Peace. Peace.